Marty Cesario here again, talking Colorado State men's lacrosse as we get ready for our exciting 2026 season. It is springtime in February. All of a sudden, you get these men's lacrosse games happening. We're very excited. We got a full schedule of Rams lacrosse, plus we have 9 home games that we'll bring to you on broadcast presentations via Stream It Sports Productions. With me, a couple of studs on the back end of CSU's defense. It is a 3-year starter in net, the goalie Chuck. It's Charlie Bibaud, who is a first-year captain with the squad and a senior at the university. And then Joe Dixon, right in front of him, a low D-man, long pole defender, physical dude. He's a junior and a first-year captain as well with CSU lacrosse. So, guys, when we look at that schedule, and I'm sure at some point, whether it was December, January, you also, became aware of what this full schedule would look like heading into the 2026 season. What are your reactions? I can just briefly, state and verbalize how you go on the road for 4, Cali, Texas, come home for 7, all on campus, then Utah for 2, then back home against a couple of Utah squads for 2, and then you'll finish the regular season against CU. That'll be down in Boulder this year. Let's start with you, goalie, Charlie. What do you see? What's your perspective on what that schedule looks like?
I mean, it's gonna be grueling. It's kind of nice to have, our away games done early, though. Being able to get on the road and go play some pretty good squads in California and then in Texas, and then getting back and having those 7 games at home is gonna be pretty nice. But like week in and week out, we're playing top 25 ranked schools. We're playing teams that have really good players. So it's going to be, every week is going to be a new challenge. And like, there's a few weeks where we play back to back. We'll play Saturday and Sunday. But it's just going to be, we're going to have to play our game and make sure that we're ready for whatever they throw at us. A lot of these teams, I feel like, are going to be like, the scouts are going to kind of work for both teams. They're kind of going to morph together. So we're just going to have to be ready and, have our sets and play well when we can. Make sure that we're ready to fight good teams every week.
Again, we're talking CSU lacrosse, goalie Charlie Bibaud, defender Joe Dixon. Hey, Joe, for you, when you look at that schedule, we should note, by the way, when we talk about that 7-game home run, that's 7 games in 4 weeks. So Charlie kind of hinted there's a couple of Saturday, Sundays with that. He also mentioned, the aggressiveness of the schedule, playing a lot of really top squads within the nation. What's the value of that? What's the ad by being so assertive with scheduling those kind of squads, man?
Yeah, I think that personally, I wouldn't have it any other way. This home stretch that we have the ability to, I think, go 7-0 if we can just really hold down our home turf. And show, these teams what we got. I think we have a really good shot of making it, farther than I ever have while we bet on the team. So it is really exciting to see, all these teams that are going to be coming to us. And then hopefully, we get some really good crowds out there, and every game is just more exciting than the last one. And we can just, keep rolling through the whole season and just keep looking into that next game.
It's exciting to move forward, use a little bit of recall, especially with you two guys. And I'll start with you again, Joe. The recall I'm using is I like to go back and review what you did in the showdown game last year, where you beat CU, and that's a good thing, and that's factual. It doesn't go away. What you did, especially in the second half, you became a monster back there. It was very notable. You made us upstairs in the broadcast booth call your name quite often. Is there something you can use from that momentum going into this year on what you did individually and then as a defensive unit?
Oh, absolutely. It all starts with the way that we train and in practice and conditioning, just like using practice to be able to go an entire game like that, into the second half, and then really turn things on and just shut down an offense is key. So it all stems from practice and conditioning. And then once we get in those games, just, rising to the level of our training and making some people pay. Like it can't just be CU it can't just be, those are the games that it's easy to get hyped up for and really want to, hit some people. We have to be able to do that every game, and just be an intimidating defense that people are looking at film and they say, wow, okay, we're going to have to, keep head on a swivel and watch out for these guys.
You know who has the best perspective of the defense is Charlie, the goalie right in front of him. Hey, Charlie, that walks us right into the fact that before you start the regular season schedule, I love when you guys go meet up with the CC Tigers. There's a lot of history there with Flip Nomberg, the late Flip, and then Jim Soren and that D3 CC Tiger squad, which is a good lacrosse program here in the state. You have stories about what Joe just did in preseason action. Go ahead and share with us.
It was great. So we played them this weekend. It was the 7th. Played them on Saturday, and first quarter of the scrimmage, and balls of the turf right in front of the cage, and one of the CC attackmen picks it up, and then Joe just comes in and decleats the guy. You swear he was off the ground for like 3 seconds. It was great. And it like Joe said, it set the tone, It lets them know that, like, we're not just going to be a pushover team. Sure, it's club lacrosse, it's MCLA, but we're a high-level ball club, and, it's worth it to keep your head on a swivel and button your chin strap, put your mouth guard in, because we're coming. And, like, there's a few young guys on our squad, especially this kid named Kai. He's a big body too, and he's going to throw his weight around, and we're going to be mean. And I think that's one thing that our coaches have really been trying to preach to our defense this year. Like, Coach Hughes and Coach Jellerson, they're very they want us to be mean. It's controlled aggression. They say it all the time. They're like, I'd rather reel you in than push you out. So
I like the reaction. Yeah, it's funny watching Joe react to is that's a positive to me. Mm-hmm. Joe's not shy about it. He's like, yeah, that's what we do. That's my role. And yeah, I will decleat you. Yeah. If you come and try to get near 33 in net. Right. That's outstanding. So what does the mean do for your defense? I mean, why is that a strength to play it that way as opposed to with finesse or as a bunch of technicians? Why is mean really working for the Rams?
I mean, I think just it makes an attackman subconsciously think twice. And the more that they think, the less that they're like attacking and moving and trying to, because like if they're standing on crease and they got their stick up, they're waiting for the ball, in their back of their mind they're thinking, damn, when I catch this, I'm gonna get blown up, and that makes them think twice. And that's kind of we want our film, when teams get our film, we want it to be intimidating. We want them to know that they're going into an absolute battle. So having a few guys on the squad who are ready to lay the boom is going to be great. But in past years we've had like such good players like Kale running around and Blaine Ware with like phenomenal sticks, and they can just pick off the ball and get going. Our defense has switched up this year. We don't have those players anymore, so we got to adapt and move on. And I think our new identity this year is just going to be a very physical, very mean, very grounded defense where we play as a unit, but we play hard and we play fast.
Yeah, I don't think it's revealing too much because it is what it is. You just have to look at the roster. The defense of CSU is going to now be missing because they've moved on in their lives. Cale Kissel, Blaine Ware, those are all-American caliber defenders who have now graduated to move on to adulting in their lives. So that'll be interesting, and something you can be excited about as you watch this Colorado State lacrosse squad is there could be a new identity for all of us to learn with this 2026 squad. Here's some recall with you, Charlie. I remember like 3-4 years ago talking with the coaching staff and specifically head coach Ryan McDonald. We were talking about all the depth at the goalie position. There were a lot of guys who could really contribute with impact, and there was no real leader. And now here we are in 2026. You've recorded starts in 4 consecutive seasons. This will be your 3rd year as the starter. What makes you good? Why are you a leader in the cage for the CSU team, Chuck?
I don't know. I think it really starts with my voice. Even like not outside of lacrosse, I'm the loudest person in every room. It's kind of like my biggest fault, I guess. But very, very vocal. I'm very talkative, and that's kind of been like my biggest strength. Any goalie's going to make save. Any goalie's going to stop the ball. But being a leader on the field, being somebody who knows defensive tactics, and then being able to voice that while I'm playing, while also being able to stay in the moment and stay grounded. And then just it comes back to mental toughness. You know, like I've played in games where I've gotten 20 goals hung up on me, but you got to stay calm and just wait for the next shot. And like even in those games, I'll still record 18 saves, but it's just you got to stay calm, stay grounded, and wait for the next shot. And you know, we've gone through a ton of different goalie rooms. This year I have 3 freshmen behind me who are all great, but it's just like I want to show them that, you know, your presence on the field is so much more than just making saves. It's commanding the defense. It's making sure that everybody knows where their spots are, making sure they know what sets they're in, and then also just having the coach's trusts. That's also huge because, you know, I've built that connection with Coach Hughes, our defensive coordinator, and I think at this point he's just like there's not a lot of talk between us. It's kind of like, all right, I know what you need to do, you know what I need to do. Let's just go out there and have at it. And I think that's the biggest thing for me is I know that I have my coaches have my back, and that's really important for me.
Hey, Joe, let's ask you, as you're probing and hunting around the crease, why do you trust that guy in net 33 right there?
Just like he said, you know, he doesn't stop, especially with the talk in net. It's easy for us to get tunnel vision and, you know, not be looking at the backside, but Chuck is always right there, you know, directing guys where to go, making sure everyone's on the same page. So, yeah, I mean, he's really our backbone there, and just having him directing us around, you end up in spots that, you know, are the right places to be, and that's what ends up leading to plays and making kills. So the more you listen to that guy and, you know, talk to him as well is really important. And, yeah, it's something that I've learned from too. Just, you know, be loud whenever you can, keep all the guys on the same page.
CSU is well-rounded in terms of diversity of where the guys come from. Charlie's from Cali. Joe, you're a local dude, right? Golden Demon.
Yes, sir.
Are you from the town of Golden or Wheat Ridge, Arvada?
Yep.
Okay. Golden. Yeah. Golden. So a little bit extra pride as you approach this season, or you want success for your local university. Would that be fair to say?
Absolutely.
What motivates you this year? What makes you believe that the Rams are going to have an outstanding season?
Just our will to win. In practice every day, we've upped the level of competition to, you know, something that I haven't even seen in the past. And it's that level of compete that is going to keep us going throughout this season and lead us to wins. We got a great group of guys, and I can tell that they're all hungry and just waiting to get at some new helmets.
Couple of captains here, Joe Dixon, the low D man, a junior, and then we've got the senior goaltender in Charlie Bibaud. That's Chuck. I'm going to let you lock things out, Chuck. Why do you believe the Rams are going to be good in 26?
I mean, it's time. We've had a few seasons that we're knocking on the door and we're right there. And I think this year everyone's just fed up with not making the national tournament, and we're fed up with not going as far as we know we can. So it's this year, it's all in. I mean, we're showing up to practices hours early, getting extra work. We're running way more. We're lifting way more. It's the work is being put in so that we can play through the entire season and get to the national tournament and go deep. Our offense looks great. Our defense looks strong. We're going to have a great season this year.